Hey you guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. So today for reading, we are going to be putting everything we did this week together. And so let's do a little bit of a review, just because I kind of forgot a little bit and I need a little bit of practice. So you're going to help me. So this week we talked a lot about characters, and we remember that characters are the people or animals in our story. And those characters, we learn about them by looking at what they're thinking and what they're doing, or their actions. So thoughts and actions, that's what we focus on this week. And I remember when we were reading Happy Birthday Surprise, and after each page we stopped and we thought, what is the character doing? What is the character thinking? And then we also learned that stories have lessons, and authors write stories to try and teach us things sometimes. And the lesson of the story is something that the author wants you to take away from the story and use in your real life. So we had talked about how one of the lessons in Happy Birthday Surprise was that everyone gets frustrated, but it's important to keep trying. And we learned that because Abel kept getting frustrated, but he kept trying and everything worked out for him in the end of the story. So we know that it's important to keep trying. That was what the author was trying to show us. Sometimes things happen, things don't work out the way we want. It's important to keep trying. And then we also worked on that 5-finger retelling to tell 5 important events of the story. And then we also used our sequencing words, just like we did in writing this week, and to retell that story. First, then, next, after, and finally. Those are the words we use to tell the events of the story in order, beginning to end. And then we also worked on putting ourselves in the character's shoes. And what that means is that we just pretended we were the characters. We pretended like we were in the story, and we asked ourselves, what would we do? What would we think? How would we feel if we were the characters in that story? Maybe if we were Abel or Chester or Daisy, how would we feel? What would we think? And what would we do? Would we do the same thing that Abel did? Or would we choose something different? So what you guys are going to do today is put it all together, and you're going to pick any book in your house. I want it to be one of your favorites. So you're going to read any book. I'm trying to think about what I would choose, and I don't know if you guys have ever read the book Cornelius, but I love that book, and so I think that that's what I'm going to use when I do this. So choose any book. I'm so excited to see what kind of books you guys have at home, but it can also be one of the books that we've worked with, like Moonlight Cat, or This is Pam, or Pam and a Map, or This is Yup. We've made a lot of little books that we have that you guys can use. It does not have to be a hardback or picture book that you already have. It can be one that you've gotten out of your learning packet because you've read those and you know a lot about them. So you're going to use everything you know about the characters, which is the people or animals in your story, about retelling, which is when you use 5 fingers to tell the most important events of the story, and you use the sequencing words to do that. First, then, next, after that, finally. And then everything you know also about the lesson of the story, or what the author wanted you to learn and use in your everyday life. And then I want you to retell the story to anyone in your house. It can be your mom, your dad, your babysitter, your brother, your dog, your grandma, anybody. And I want you to use everything that we worked on this week. So you're going to tell them about the characters. You're going to use your retelling, and you're going to tell them 5 important details. But you have to use your sequencing words so they know when that happened. So you're going to say, first this happened, then this happened, next this happened, all the way to the end of the book. And then maybe you're going to tell them about the lesson of the story, or what you think the lesson of the story is. It might be what you learned from the story. That might be the lesson. So you guys are going to use everything you know to do a retelling today with any book of your choosing. One of the books from the learning packet, or one of the books that you have at home that maybe you guys read at bedtime, or one that you got from the library, or one that you got for your birthday or for Christmas, or anything, any book. And you're just going to do that retelling about your characters, your events, and your lesson of the story. All three of those things, don't forget. And you can look back and remind yourself, this one's about putting yourself in someone else's shoes. This one's about lesson and the sequencing words. This one's about characters. All of those things to help you remember what to say when you retell that story. Because I bet you picked a good story. And I bet that whoever you're retelling that story to, they want to know what happens in that story. They want to know about your characters, about your lesson, about the events of the story and everything that happened. So good luck, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And it's Friday, so I'll see you next week.